Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today, and one that I'm probably going to run as a bonus at 8 p.m. because recently everything seems to be happening all at once and I'm having trouble even finding places to pop these videos. But I am playing the work in progress release core for Darius here on MiSTer FPGA, or Darius if you want to pronounce it that way, because however I say it, half the internet seems to think it is the other way. Or maybe it's just Daria from the 90s, we just don't know. But even though this thing is not 100% complete, playability wise it is, and it absolutely is such a wild thing to see on MiSTer FPGA, because for the longest time I wanted to see one of these ultra-wide arcade games working on MiSTer FPGA, and we have that today, and that is absolutely spectacular, so we're going to be talking about it. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But this game is absolutely Hall of Fame first ballot levels of good as far as arcade shmups are concerned. If you've never played it before, I'm going to tell you right now, be prepared to die over and over and over again. This game will not hold your hand, it's going to take you in the back alley and mug you for all the quarters in your pockets. But the good thing is, on MiSTer FPGA, we're not actually putting quarters in the machine, so it's not really going to cost you a fortune to try to play this one. And I am going to try to pronounce the core dev's name here, and I apologize in advance if you're watching, you did not make this easy for me whatsoever. Baseri Video Ladici, I believe that's how it's pronounced, but honestly it is a tongue twister, so I did the best I could. But as far as the actual core performance is concerned, outside of a little bit of weirdness in the audio, by the time you watch that could be cleaned up, and I will leave a note in the description if it is, you would be hard pressed to believe that you're playing anything other than an original arcade board or MAME emulation here. And this definitely is no easy feat, because if you can't tell already, and I'm sure you've seen it, this thing absolutely runs at an aspect ratio that is wild, and you're basically watching this in super ultra wide on the video. And that's one of those things that absolutely gave the game so much more impact in arcades, and Taito loved doing stuff like this. My favorite game from them in ultra wide being Warrior Blade Rasen Saga 3, which I hope one day we do get on MiSTer FPGA. It is one of my top 10 favorite games of all time, and personally to me, my favorite beat 'em up ever made. But as far as the core is concerned, I love seeing this on MiSTer FPGA because there's so many really fun and inventive ways to play around with the hardware and give players new experiences. You'll see here when you continue, you see it on two screens as well. And if you actually collect this real arcade hardware, and I do have one multi-screen board in my collection, it is absolutely near impossible to run it at home without a massive setup. Now I have more than one PVM, so for the dual screen games, basically what you could do is you take the bezel off the front of them, you position them in a very specific way, and you use a mirror to basically reflect the image to marry those two different screens into one cohesive looking thing. It is not worth doing, it takes forever, so basically something like this, emulation or FPGA in my opinion is the only way to go, because trust me when I say trying to set that up takes more time than actually playing the game, and that is why I've never actually bought a Warrior Blade Rasen Saga 3 PCB. They are 4 digits expensive, and honestly, trying to play it at home would be a pain, and I'm sure there is some way to adjust the signals via something like RetroTink or the more 4K, but when you're dealing with two different video outputs, you're dealing with an even bigger headache. But here on the work in progress core, it makes it all the much easier, because if you have a standard 16:9 television, you'll be playing this with some letterboxing on the top and the bottom. But on capture, at least for me, when I play this, I play it on my ultra-wide monitors that I use for my editing rig, and it is absolutely a near perfect experience. A big thanks to Andy D for helping with some of the captures on this one as well. He died a few times, but trust me, this game absolutely is a no-holds-barred, gonna kill you every single creative way you can think of sort of shmup. This is not bullet hell, this is basically hell without the bullets, because there aren't that many projectiles on screen, but they basically always seem to find a way to absolutely just nail you right in the face. But that is the fun thing about Darius. It is a very challenging game. It requires a lot of memorization, and when you die and get sent back a bit, you lose all your power-ups and basically become so weak that it feels like a battle of attrition. Let's go into the first of two soundtrack samples again. Right now the audio can be a little bit muffled, nothing that's going to hurt your ears, but if this has changed since I actually got this video done, I will leave a link in the description below so you know it is improved. It's like 90% of the way there, but go ahead and listen. I'll come back, talk more about the technical prowess of getting this thing running, and why I love to see it on MiSTer FPGA. But enjoy! So obviously the audio isn't 100% buttoned up yet, but I'm sure that will come because again, this thing is still in active development. And the fact that outside of the audio, just looking at the image and the gameplay, you'd have no idea that that was the case is just a testament to how good this core truly is doing. Because again, trust me, trying to deal with all of these video signals in and marrying them all together in real time and in sync, that must be an absolutely massive lift as far as actually getting this to work is concerned. Because you can see from the aspect ratio here, you're dealing with 3 different independent screens that in arcades would have all been put together with mirrors and then driven from the arcade board. But here in FPGA code, you have to drive those via the FPGA, and you have to make sure everything is perfectly in alignment, not only as far as the screen space is concerned, but also the sync and logic. If even one of these screens was 1 or 2 frames off from the other one, you would see an absolute mess in the scrolling. But the scrolling here is absolutely smooth and fluid, and it honestly doesn't look like it is 3 different independent video sources whatsoever. It just looks like one super ultra wide kind of vibe, and that really is what Taito was doing back in the day. And if you're not aware, you should check out some of their widescreen games. I will leave a link in the description below to a video I did years ago if I actually remember, and honestly more often than not I do forget. This was basically arcade developers playing around with what could be done in arcades, because obviously when this game came out, 4x3 TVs were just the de facto, and maybe something out there existed in widescreen, maybe in Japan at Sony Labs somewhere, but otherwise 4x3 was what you watched TV on and what you played games on. But because the arcade was always the domain of more powerful hardware and more fun, bigger experiences, the engineers at Taito realized that they could actually have multiple outputs on an arcade board and give you widescreen gaming. And seeing that come over to MiSTer FPGA makes me happy, because for years now in different videos when I talk about what I would love to see, I always said I'd love to see one of the ultra-wide games, so hopefully this turns into some of the other stuff as well down the line, like Warrior Blade Rasen Saga 3, because once that game finally hits MiSTer FPGA, it'll be the happiest day outside of getting the 3DO core for me personally. And if you've never played Warrior Blade, do me the favor, go out and play it. It emulates perfectly in MAME, because it really is one of those games that everyone would love if they just actually had a chance and sat down and played it. But obviously something like Darius is going to be way more well known compared to Warrior Blade, and it definitely makes sense that it is the first of these sort of cores. But it really shows that MiSTer FPGA can be so versatile in what it does. We have obviously 16:9 and stuff like the PlayStation 1 core and N64, even Sega Saturn for games that supported it. But honestly, as far as the arcade side is concerned, I don't think there is any other core that's going to display anything other than 4x3 outside of Darius now, and when Hotego finally gets around to making the core finalize, something like Street Fighter 3, Second Impact, because that actually does have a widescreen mode in the test menu that most people don't actually know about. Let's do one more soundtrack sample. Again, nothing that's going to hurt your ears. You can hear how close the audio is to being accurate, but that muffled kind of nature just sits underneath it ever so slightly. But it definitely is showing a lot of promise. I'm sure next update it will be buttoned up. So go ahead and listen. I'll be right back and tell you how you can play this core today if you want to. It's like 90% of the way there, and honestly it is nothing that would keep me from playing the game. But trust me when I say again, if you do want to pick this one up and you haven't mastered all of the different patterns, be prepared to die over and over again, because Darius is a memorization game. Yes, it is a shmup, but the patterns are basically going to be near identical every single run, so you just have to kind of pick and poke at this game, learn what it's asking of you, and get better at it. It's basically like Pulse Star on Neo Geo, except obviously made a lot earlier and made by Taito. As far as it's going to absolutely destroy you until you memorize everything, then suddenly you're basically going to feel invincible. So if you want to play this one, it's manual install. I left a link in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. And trust me, it really is hard. Bye-bye.